This is a Smitty and Middy Show, web exclusive.
All right, welcome back to another Smitty and Middy Show exclusive brought to you by Kev's Cards. Speaking of Kev's Cards, producer Kevin Hillsden joining me since Noah Smith is incapacitated at this time. But the gentleman you are all here to see is Mr. Bob Menery. He is the smoothest voice of the West. He is the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings. He is a social media tycoon. He's got his podcast, ZAPPED. He is also a co-owner of FCF Zappers. He's everything under the sun, Mr. Bob Menery. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. I got you guys out of bed. You guys asked me to do this night. You said you want to do it Wednesday. I said, nope, fuck it. We're doing it right now.
Bob, when the door comes knocking, when Bob Menery says, I need to do this right now, you figure out a way to do it. That's what you do.
No, I'm not that important either. I'm just saying that, I was just like, fuck it. Let's just roll. I mean, you guys seem like the kind of people that, you get the drop of a hat, you can do it too. So let's go.
No, that's what I'm saying. When Bob Menery says, let's do this, and you give us your time, you know what? I'm going to hop on the computer. I'm going to grab a whiskey, and I'm going to talk to you. That's what I'm going to do. So let's start right at you see the jersey over there, your Patriots jersey. I want to know, what is Bill Belichick thinking bringing back Cam Newton?
I mean, they paid him what? They paid Cam $12 million?
Something along there.
Tough, to get a good quarterback right now in the NFL. I'll be honest with you. I had actually a chance to sit down with Cam when he first came to New England. I forget how I reached. I think his production company had reached out to me and we're like, hey, we should get you and Cam together. I started talking to him and, I went over to his house. It was like kind of crazy, random, like middle of, I think it was, probably about right at the beginning of the NFL season, and just rang the doorbell. And actually I went up to the front desk when I got there and I'm like, hi, is Cam Newton here? And the lady looked at me like, she's probably not supposed to say that he's there. And she kind of looked at me like I had three heads. And she was like, does he know you're coming? I'm like, no, I should say, do you know he's coming? She said, he said, what did she say? Something crazy. Hold on. She was like, no, he doesn't live here. And I'm like, that's weird. He told me this place. So I had to really break it down before, I could actually get access to the building. So I go up to Cam's apartment, sit down, meet him. Good dude. He understood the shoes he had to fill in New England with Brady. And, I think he had a decent season. I mean, $12 million because he only made $1.5 million last year, right? That's a big jump. So Belichick was a genius. He must see something in him for that offense to still work. And, I like Cam. So I just hope he improves from last year. He's obviously getting more accustomed to the system there. So I like the move.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm a Bills fan, Bob. So anything to make that division a little weaker, anything to get the Patriots out of the way, and I'll take it. I'll run with it.
Well, you guys are about to go on a little journey. You're about to maybe have what we had for a while in New England. It was sick. Well, I mean, I was through the whole entire fucking, dynasty. I'm a diehard Pats fan. My dad, grandpa watching it, and just we've been very, very spoiled in New England. And so, but Buffalo's the real deal now. So you guys got a good team and they're here to stay. So
I hope so. You mentioned the hustle of getting, Cam Newton and getting some of your guests. What's one of the hustles that really stood out? Because I know there was one, I believe it was Shaq. You were just trying to message him as you were sitting rows away from him at a sporting event. So hustling is how you get all of these guests that have helped you get to where you are. So what's the weirdest hustle you've had?
Weirdest hustle. I mean, first and foremost, what happens normally is a lot of times there'll be, these guys, I'll make fun of them in a clip or something. And, if it's a personalized video that's funny, they're going to obviously like it. Sometimes they message me or say a great funny clip or something, or sometimes I'll see that they comment or like it. And I'll definitely try and build a relationship with, these athletes because obviously, I'm in that world and they're good for business to be able to have access to them and whatnot. Craziest probably, man, I mean, Dana White was probably one that was built a pretty good relationship with. Dana's the man. And I think I pretty much just I'm pretty just straightforward. I'm just hey man, I got this massive audience. I think that I can help bring value to whatever you're doing outside of football or baseball or whatever to help the brand outside of that. And, love to talk to you and hit you up. And I'm a FaceTime guy. I'll always just bang these guys out right away. FaceTime. And just no matter what, I'll keep calling and then I'll annoy them. That's why not everybody likes me, but I'll just keep being persistent and try and fucking get these guys to either whether it be do my podcast or do some Instagram live or, we were doing that thing for COVID-19 when all that was happening. We were giving some money away for all the frontline people. And, I was bothering everybody because I said, I want to do a game show at the beginning of the pandemic. I said, I'm going to do the game show every night until the pandemic ends. I only thought it'd last a week or two. Here it was. I'd still be giving away money if I had to cut it off at some point because the pandemic already has lasted this long. But I'm just like fucking hungry. I'm excited. I love what I do. You have millions and millions and millions of followers. You can do so many different things with it, and it's just fun to me. Like, I mean, even shooting these little like stories and shit. I just have so much fun because I always like to just shoot right exactly what's going on. No bullshit. Like with whatever I put in my little stupid stories, if anybody watches them, it's exactly what you're seeing. If I like break up with a chick and I'm fucking pissed off, or if I'm hammered at a bar, or if I'm fucking doing a podcast, and I just always show exactly what I'm doing or feeling.
And Bob, I'm a longtime fan, by the way. I listened to Ripper Magoo's when it first came out. Love the Jordan Belfort episode. That guy is fucking awesome.
I miss it. What was the most you ever paid for a hooker? That's what I asked.
I love that question. Yeah, that's the best question ever.
No shit.
And so to add a little context to what you were saying before, you mentioned early on, and I can't remember if it was on the podcast or in your special where you talked about humble beginnings and moving to LA and the tough times starting out before you kind of became an overnight success. And I know you've drowned that story out like crazy, but you were talking about how sometimes you just leave an event that you're at or leave whatever you're doing, go out in your car and record something and then post it just like that, just because you have the idea in your head. What's like, and I don't know if you have an answer for this, but what is the craziest place that you've left? Like, are you halfway through banging a chick and you're like, fuck, I got an idea? Like,
I've never had it halfway through banging a chick. Definitely not. But I have had when I was on a date once on Bumble, and I'm sitting there, and this is at a point like now I got to get back to you got to always get back to the fundamentals, but at the same time doing so much stuff now, like business wise, and trying to do stuff outside of the content and balance that. So I'm not as psychotic as I was. I need to get back to that mindset because I want to continue doing the content and stay from where I came from, but at the same time, I want to also be able to just generate revenue and whatnot. So craziest thing, I'm out on a Bumble date, and the girl was like awesome, like really attractive, like probably actually my future wife. And things are going great. And obviously over her shoulder is Myles Garrett smashing Mason Rudolph over the head with a fucking helmet. And so I'm sitting there like, oh God, oh my God. Because here's the deal. The way the internet works is obviously like anything else, any other media outlet, you want to be the first one to do it. You don't want to do it the next day or cover the clip the next day. So you want to do it on the spot. So I had to fucking go. I mean, work over fucking girls. So I got up in the middle without explaining anything. And I just ran away from the date. I jumped on a scooter and I scootered all the way back to my Santa Monica apartment that I was living. And I was like thinking that like the scooter would be faster than running, but I think running might've been faster. So I was like hammering on the scooter at full speed, but it wasn't that fast. And so I was just kind of drifting down the road kind of slowly and ran into my apartment and screamed into my phone and got it in time before a couple other outlets picked it up. And, and that's probably the craziest thing. I mean, I've had some crazy probably times where that happens all the time where I'll see something in a bar and I'll just get up and leave and do it. And I'll just, like I said, order an Uber and I'll just be like, hey, can you get out of the car for a minute? And the guy probably thinks I'm fucking stealing the car, but I'm like, hey, can you, that's why you have to order an Uber Black SUV, because it's more like they understand that like, hey, maybe this guy probably is a high value guy or something. Like I can trust him being in my car alone. If I order a fucking Uber X and a Toyota Prius Toyota Prius pulls up, it's gonna be hard to be like, honey, can you get out of the fucking car for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I usually do that. I ask him to sit outside and I'll give him like $100 tip if the clip goes well. It only takes me a couple minutes. So.
Man, Bumble is, I think, the worst for guys like me. Like, I don't look good, Bob. I'm not the look. I'm not
me
like
neither, bro. Me neither. You're not alone, dude. Trust me. I tell you what, the blue check mark, the TikTok account really helps. I was in your shoes, man. Just stay with it.
I need to be able to throw that first line out. It needs to be me that, tries to charm first. That's got to be, nobody comes to me, Bob. Nobody comes.
I think the first, see, my Bumble game is so bad that it's like, actually I was just on it. Like I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Look, I'm a single guy. All right. So sometimes they have a feature on there. It's called the spotlight. All right. And the spotlight is where it just kind of puts you in front and center at a certain time. So, normally if you're a guy, you had a couple of drinks, it's a little late, you maybe want to meet a girl late night, take her out, hopefully have success, shoot that spotlight on between the hours 11 and 2 a.m. Usually the more risky ones are up at that time. So, that's what I do. I go in the spotlight. Doesn't work though. None of them respond. And I just fire you up over and over. None of them respond.
All it takes is one, Bob. All it takes is one person.
You're exactly right. You guys are fucking smart dudes. All it takes is fucking one.
All right, let's go back quickly to your journey a little bit. You moved from Boston. You went to LA.
Can I cut you off for a second? Can I cut you off for 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys this is my move now with girls, and it may seem cheesy, shady, whatever. So obviously I have the power of this stupid Instagram thing, right? So I'll be at a bar. I'll be sitting there by myself, and there will be like 2 girls or something sitting over there that are very attractive, right? This is genius. They're very attractive. And so what I'll do is I'll take my camera out and I'll pan it around the room, and I'll catch their face in the story. And I'll just pan it up like at Tony C's drinking or something, having fun, right? And now I put it out to the world, and I'll sit there for like 5 minutes, and I'll just say, just wait. There's only a matter of time before because all dudes are fans. There's no chicks. Some dude will message her and be like, "Oh, you're in Bob's story." She'll look over and I'll be like, "What's up?" Deadliest move in the game, bro.
That's years and years and years of practice right there. You're a wise beyond your years.
Took a lot of time to think of that one, but I'm damn proud of it.
All right, let's go back quickly to your journey here. I want to go back to moving away from your hometown, going to LA, trying to grind through and make it in show business. And you end up living in your car. Like, what was the lowest point? Was there ever a point where you're like, screw it, I'm going home, I'm done?
I was like almost too afraid to go home, I think, because first of all, it was not like, I don't exaggerate the story in any way, shape, or form. It was obviously all self-inflicted like damage. I was just being an idiot, and I was put myself in a position where I had to kind of do that, And for some reason, I just had fear of asking people for help and shit. And so, I remember the night that I just kind of decided to do it, and then I did it, and it wasn't so bad. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to shower them? So I got a membership at the YMCA for $30. I'd sleep in the car, go to the YMCA, go to the country club to try and get work, and then repeat the process over and over again. And then it was just tiring. It got tiring, like every day for literally, I think it was probably 2 months, maybe a little more than that. And it was, but then it kind of just became cool, It was like, I felt like, all right, I just kind of want to go home and sleep. And, my home was the car. So like, I'm going to take the night off, boys. I'll see you later. And they speak, Bob, where do you live? I'm like, that apartment building down the street over there, And what I would do, I would just drive around and look for a nice neighborhood. And it would be like, you have to be up early. You got to be up early because the worst is when I wanted to go to bed early and the sun was just going down. It was hard in the summer, and the sun goes down at like 8:30 in LA. So like you can't, you got to go to bed in the dark because I don't want anybody to see me sleeping, even though I had tinted windows. I didn't want anybody to see me in there, call the cops or anything, and then it'd just be embarrassing and have to move me and shit somewhere. So I fucking usually have to go to bed around 9. But tell you what, I had some great night's sleeps in that fucking car.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story that everyone kind of dreams of living, but doesn't have the balls to do it. Honestly,
I don't think it dreams of living that story. I think it was tough. It was very, very tough. But I'd be sitting in there with like my breakfast sandwich, sitting in the car, watching my iPhone, like a game or something, just sitting there. Neighbors would walk by, like, "How you doing? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here, guys."
Now you made your first appearance in a music video, and then that led to your first video that went viral, and it just all went uphill from that. When was the time that you went like, I'm famous now? Did it happen overnight? Was it months?
I think like Rich Eisen's show was pretty cool. That was like a little later down when I could do Rich Eisen's show. It was cool because the Rich I always admired, and like to be able to go on his show and he asked me to come on, and then him walking in the green room and saying, "Hey, if you fuck this up for me," no, he didn't really say it like that, but he's like, "Just behave out there, right, Bob?" I'm like, "I got this, Rich. I got this, man." And then getting to play myself in Billions, which is terrible because I forgot all my lines, and because I went out the night before and forgot every single line and showed up and thinking it was easy, and I just couldn't remember my lines because there was a full boxing arena full of people, and I'm sitting there next to Rich Eisen, who's the most well-prepared guy on the planet, professional, and he's like, "So Bob, how do you want to play this?" I'm like, "Rich, I got 2 hours sleep. I don't fucking know my lines. I'm fucked." And then they're like, "Action!" And the problem is like the whole entire arena is completely quiet when you do your lines. Right? Like they're quiet because it's all like you have to capture the audio between me and Rich. And I just didn't know. I kept flubbing him and like, guys, and then finally I'm like, I fucking don't know my lines. They're like, "Oh God, all right. Well, Bob, just improv these 5 rounds with Rich Eisen." So me and Rich would just improv while billion dollar bill or whatever was fighting. We improv 5 rounds of boxing together. I'd love to actually see that raw tape because I never got to see it. But yeah, I mean that, and then when I hit like early on, I think more of the question is like when I found my groove. I think when I hit like it was weird, like 10,000 followers, I was like, I'm fucking onto something. My dad's like, no, you need to get a job. I'm like, yeah, but I'm onto something. My dad's like, no, you need to get a job. I'm like, yeah, but I'm onto something. And so like I think that was the moment when I hit 10,000 followers, and just seeing the numbers go up really fast. Like in the early stage, my numbers were going fucking lightning, like 25,000 a day, 35,000 a day, 10,000, 15,000. I was like, fuck, there's something here.
I fondly remember there's a few videos that just stick out to me. And for those that are listening or watching wherever you're tuning into us, Bob Menery is iconic in the world of, I'm going to take a quick highlight, put a voiceover on it, and boom, like millions of likes overnight. I fondly remember, and I think it's my favorite one, and I think you've reposted it at least 10 times, is the Fabriga at the Olympics. Yes. Holy shit!
Yeah, his whole life, Fabriga, the Olympics. And then, yeah, he shit is the bed. He shit himself midair is what actually happened. I remember Peter and I were in the booth. Tough call, but we had to do it,
Who's Peter? I need to know this. Who's Peter?
Peter is real, okay? No matter what everybody says, Peter is fucking real. He's my color commentator. You can't see him or hear him, but he's fucking real. I always want to... I'll give you a clue. I always had dreamed of making an animated show. And, so you need a color commentator when you're play-by-play guy. So Peter will be revealed one day. It's just taking a little longer than expected.
He's a behind the cameras kind of guy.
Was he on Game of Thrones? This Peter, was he on Game of Thrones?
Could have been. Not going to give too much away here.
Personally, some of my favorite videos were the golf ones. And I think of Dustin Johnson coming out of the bathroom, white stuff under his nose, yelling, woo, hit an 8-iron, 240 yards. What is with you in professional golf? Why can't they just let you grow the younger audience that they don't have?
Golf is a tough sport. I mean, dude, I actually remember that was a moment that I was like, holy shit, what have I done or created? Is like, with the golf videos, I had a lot of success with those golf videos. I mean, look at, they're just a strict sport. They have they're all uppity people and shit, whatever. And so they just didn't allow me to do it. But I do remember going to my first golf event ever. That was packed. I forget what tournament it was, maybe the Honda Classic or something. And it was pretty fucking crazy, people coming up to you and just being like, dude, like every second. And it was every fucking second. And I was like, what the fuck have I done with a word that me and my buddy created that I don't even know what I did? And it was because now you hear everybody yelling it. I have nothing to do with that. It just happened kind of on its own through just my videos and stuff saying Ripper Magoo, and then kind of create a little brand off of it. And it's been fucking crazy. But yeah, it sucks that I can't really do the golf shit. I'll find a way around it. But the problem is another golf season goes by and I fucked it up and I kind of missed it. So it's just tough because they don't let me use their shit. They don't let me touch it.
It doesn't make any sense to me, honestly, because you have a younger audience. That's what they're missing. They obviously don't have that younger audience right now. It's dying, and maybe Bryson DeChambeau helps, but I mean, it's kind of gone away. But we won't take too much more of your time, Bob. We really appreciate you hopping on with us here. Make sure everybody out there, if you're not already, go follow Bob Menery on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, anywhere you can find them. And make sure you check out the podcast, Zap Podcast, everywhere.
Zap Podcast is on hold right now. I don't want to talk to somebody on a fucking screen like we're doing right now. So I want to bring it back when it is face to face. That's my favorite thing to do. I can't do it anymore. I'm like sitting there talking to somebody like, can you hear me? Are you wearing headphones? Can you just talk a little louder? Check what, it's like, no, fuck that. I'm done. I don't even care how much money is in it or what we're, but I'd love to bring back Ripper Magoo's. I had a little issue with Kevin Conley, who was, my partner in it. And it kind of just didn't end up well, which was not fun because we had a really, really consistent show and a really good show. We hit number 1 in the world of sports and we had a lot of good traction. We were number 6 in the world. And so it was a bummer, I'm trying to convince Kevin, and to figure a way because, Kevin owns the RSS feed. So, when I signed that deal, I'd never done a podcast before. He kind of, said, hey, you want to do a podcast? And, me and Kevin are fucking funny because it's like a love-hate relationship where we like 1 minute are like, dude, love you, man, love you. And then it's like, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit, fuck face, fuck you. And so, I sent Kevin a message actually today to say, look at how can we just fucking make this shit happen and get back and do this again. And so hopefully we can bring back Ripper Magoo's, because that was my favorite show with Timmy Bounce Back, my co-host, and we had some really, 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 really good episodes. So Zapped or Ripper Magoo's. The problem is this. I mean, if I can't start like a third podcast now, it's like I'm fucked. I mean, I can't be like, Menery's starting his 7th podcast of the month because want to join. It's like, Jesus Christ. So hoping that Kevin can come to his senses and understand that we had something very good and we can figure out and be fair to each other and actually make this thing work.
Well, it's the Zoom interviews and the screen interviews like this that it's the reason we get to talk to people like you and people like the people we have talked to. So there's always old episodes back there of those. Hopefully we see some new ones soon. Thank you very much, Mr. Menery. We'll talk to you again.